build a page that uses Fluent UI. What's up, family? I was on a podcast this week. The host of the podcast asked me if Hot Page could use Fluent UI web components, because the host of the podcast works at Microsoft and builds web components there. So I thought I would build a page that uses Fluent UI, the Microsoft web component framework, and maybe show some people how to do it. It also started because it was a suggestion from my mom. Thanks, Mom. The idea here is make a page using Fluent UI. And, there are these things like an accordion. Cute. So that's a bunch of little widgets for your page that are web components, which you can see here by the custom element name. So the idea is we're going to use these on Hot Page. And looks like you need to activate these scripts. They need an initialization step. So we need a script first of all. And it would be something like this. Well, we need all of this. And unpackage, that works. And then what I need here is this accordion logic. And if we look at this page, we should have an accordion, and looks like it worked. That's encouraging. And we can start to change this text. And as I type here, you'll see that it will type here. So this morning, I was reading The Atlantic, as one does, and I saw that ChatGPT is going off the rails about devil worship if you ask it about this god Molech, which is in the Hebrew Bible. So I figured we could use that to generate some content for the page. So here we go. This is content. So let's get this in to the chat, to the page. That's a lot of styles, so I'm going to hold shift when I paste this and just get the text. So first question. Who are you, Moloch, and why do mortals speak your name with dread? So we should be able to do... This just looks like it's panel. So here we go. Who are you, Moloch, and why do mortals speak your name with dread? Now we have this inside this paragraph inside the panel. So this span is a slot heading, and then each accordion item gets is a special element. So let's see how can we do this a little faster. I'm using this button that wraps it. So Hot Page is all about native HTML DOM, which means trees. So you could take these two paragraphs and wrap in a new element, and then we get it wrapped in a div. So this is the first one. This is the model of what we're trying to build. So if I bring this div in here, I can change this to Fluent accordion item, and then change this class to panel, and we should, right, and then this gets a slot attribute, slot equals heading. And now we have here these questions with the answers inside of them. So this is the FAQ. Let's make this, let's put a heading on here. So we don't need these. We want 5 questions, so we gotta add this 5 times. And then I'm just gonna delete the rest of this text. So now we've got our FAQ. Let's just say, hi, I'm Malik. What is Malik? I am fire that consumes the hope of man. And we're off to start here. What other components do we have? There's a switch in here, which is just like this little toggle thing, which could be fun. Well, pasting this doesn't work. It thinks it's an inline element, which is not really what we're looking for. So I'm just going to build it from scratch. Captions is the label. I want to say we're going to use this switch for daemon mode. We'll make it into a sort of a dark mode toggle. This gets span element, and then it's gonna get slot checked message. This gets span slot well, this is checked message. Then yeah, we do need a picture of Moloch. We'll get to that next. And now we have a switch for daemon mode on or off. And we somehow need to figure out, we need to do something. We need to connect this switch for daemon mode to different styles on the page. So when the click handler file fires, this.checked hasn't been updated yet. So we can assume that this is the old state and we want to negate it. So if we're in here and we have daemon mode on, off. So off, there's no class. On, there's a class for daemon mode. So if we go into styles, we can do html.daemon mode. Change the background to black and the color to white. Now, as we switch this, we're adding and removing the class, and then these we're turning into black. I think maybe a red color would be better. Red, tomato, maybe color tomato. A little too orange. Something like crimson. That's good for what? So if I want to change the color of these, this toggle, there should be some custom elements in here that have not custom elements, they're elements that have custom CSS properties that will let me change the color. So this is hover all the time because I added this pseudo class in DevTools, but here we can see that I've changed it to a red switch. This text is not changing. So this changes the color of the text for the whole document, but these components apparently have their own text color. So I will need to figure out what the color these. So this is neutral foreground rest, and let's make it crimson. And there we go. This is red. These are red. Very cool. All right, we need a picture in here. Here we go. Awesome. How about a better font? Get some headings. This is Carlos's new headings library, and I think the only place to go is black letter. I'll put this on the body, and I don't want the shadow everywhere, but I do want the font. Should we get some more web components on this thing? And here we go. We're back. Daemon mode, still working. Desserts. I'm gonna save this, just so we make sure that we can always go back to this point. It's a save point. We have tabs here. Should we put some content? Rituals. Shrines. Chants. I'm just gonna do with no text, no styles. So this is apps panel. So how does this work? Rituals, shrines, chants. So it's basically just on the index. So here we get rituals. I can't click on shrines or chants because I haven't made more tabs. I do want to change this font. So here, this is where we're importing Pirata 1, and this is where we're setting it on the page. But we want it always, even if it's not in daemon mode. So I'll put it up here, and then I'm going to want to add a custom property to every element, which is so that it will set the font on all of the Fluent UI elements. Looking pretty good. Definitely like daemon mode. I wish these were black, or at least dark gray or something. We've only been designing it at this width, so I'd actually like to see what this looks like when it's at a full width screen. The accordion, let's set this to 650, and then we can add some margin into margin inline auto, and now it should be centered in the middle. I'm going to add some more padding on the whole thing. So right now, this should be constrained into the center of the page a little bit. I don't know why this is such a low font size. It's because we had font size on every element. We don't want that. We want it in here. How about putting this next to the picture. For that, I'm going to grab a grid. Styled elements are, this is our first library panel, so we can see there's all different kinds of things in here. How about a 1-2 grid? So grab this, drop it in, drop this in here, drop this in here, and now the text is next to it. I don't necessarily want that on mobile, so I'm going to add a media query. So on mobile it looks like this, and then on desktop we have this. Seems fine. Let's ask ChatGPT for some more Moloch content. Cool, here's our introduction. Where does it go? Add in, here we go. Greetings, mortal. I am Melech, ancient fire-born sovereign of sacrifice, once cloaked in gold and worshipped beneath the stars of forgotten empires. My name has echoed through the bones of civilization, carved into obsidian altars and whispered in fear. Love it. Well, I think maybe this is good enough. It's been over an hour. We've got a very demonic page and a lot of web components on it. I'm going to sign off. Thank you guys for watching.